Hey, how's it going out there? Hey, you guys been hearing me talk about it for months, but finally did it. Got to go down to the BASS event in Orange, Texas, to the Sabine River and be a marshal for 3 days. And just had an absolute blast down there. So what I want to do tonight is go over what it's like to be a marshal and cover a couple of the anglers that I got to spend the day with. So stay tuned, should be fun. All right, guys, so hey, the first thing I want to do, I want to give a shout out to the city of Orange. Man, talk about putting on an event. They had built a new pavilion. They had a carnival come in, just the wonderful grounds, a great ramp. Orange just rolled out the red carpet for the BASS Elite Series event. All the people in town that I ran into, I had my bass hat on and everything, and man, they were just as friendly as can be. So if you ever get a chance to go to Orange, Texas, it's a pretty nice place, and I wouldn't really recommend fishing the Sabine River. I'd go up to Toledo Bend or up to Sam Rayburn. But anyway, shout out to the city of Orange. It was a great event. I had a great time. First thing, you got to go to the Bass website and go to the Elite Series. And there's the Marshal signups. Now, you got all the different events that you can sign up for, but it doesn't happen until real early in the year. If I remember right, it was in December or January that you actually sign up. So sign up that day that registration opens, and that gives you the best shot for getting to Marshal for 3 whole days. Everything's based on your timestamp. Otherwise, you go on a wait list. Right now, I signed up to also Marshal in the Classic, which will be in June, but I'm on the wait list. And I was only a few hours late from when registration opened. So I suggest you take a look at that and you get signed up real early. And for me, it was $95 for the regular Elite Series event, and it's $500 for the Classic. I'm hoping I get there on the wait list, but I'm not sure yet. So after you sign up, there'll be a series of emails come through, and forms you got to sign online, and it's all done through email. It's pretty easy. So when you get ready to go down there, they'll have training videos. And now this was the COVID year. We had to do it by video. I think normally they go ahead and have an in-person training session. But anyway, the day you get there, you'll get in line. They give you your swag, your Marshal shirt, a few caps, couple stickers, and that's kind of fun. And you get to meet I got to meet Dalton and Lisa, who were in charge of the Marshals, you might say. And then I also got to correspond with a lady named Barbara, who was, I tried to get a little too fancy and send edited videos in while I was on the water. And she said, hey, we can't use those. Just take stills. She could use videos, but it's only if you get a video of a guy getting an 8-pounder or something, they'll probably use that. So they just wanted still shots while you were on the water. But you go and you get your stuff, and then that night you'll get a text. And the text will have your angler, the time you're leaving in the morning, and his phone number. And from there, you can call or text your angler, figure out when they're going to be there, and coordinate where you're going to meet. Because what they do is they pull into a line, and they come in one at a time, and you're just looking for their boat. So don't forget to ask, hey, what do you got on your boat wrap? because not all of them have got their names big and bold all over their trucks and boats. So make sure you know what their boat looks like. All right, so when you get there in the morning and you meet up with your pro, go ahead and throw your stuff in the boat. And, you know, there you can discuss, or you can even discuss it the night before, you know, who's going to back in the boat, who's going to take the boat off the trailer, because you're there to help them for that. If you're not comfortable backing his boat in the water, it's okay. You know, just tell him that. A lot of these guys have wives or friends with them who can help them out. Or like myself, the first morning, you know, they're bringing them boats in really quick and they're really good at it. I said, hey, would you mind just backing it up towards the water and then I'll take over and I'll back it in the water and then go park it? Yeah, great. You know, all three of the anglers were good with that. So in the afternoons, it's a little more relaxed. So it's no problem going up and grabbing the truck and backing it in the water and he brings it up for you. It's not a big deal, and nobody's getting upset at the ramp. They're not honking at each other, nothing like that. So guys, don't stress about it. And then basically you're just waiting in line for Mr. Dave Mercer to call your angler's name and you get to take off. So if you've never ridden in a bass boat with a 250 horsepower motor, they go really fast, guys, really fast. It is fun. But on most of these bass boats, I don't want to say all of them, but most of them, you don't have a windshield. So guys, have something to cover your face, you know, some kind of gator. I wore earplugs. That really helped because you don't know, you might be riding for, you know, 2 hours. Brock Mosley and the winner, Jason Christie, they were traveling 2 hours. As a matter of fact, Jason Christie was getting back to the dock with between 2 gallons and half a gallon of fuel when he got back. So guys, you may be sitting there, you know, going at high speeds for a long time. You know, at 60 miles an hour, even if the air temperature is 60 degrees, you may still want to have a wind jacket on, or I was just wearing my rain suit because there was a chance for rain. But make sure you're ready for that, because the last thing you want to do is hold these guys up and say, hey, let me get into my bag and get my raincoat on. You will find out real quickly that these guys are all about time and efficiency. So be ready. Have your stuff on, be ready to go. Your glasses, have a band on your glasses. I almost lost mine once. I did lose one hat and almost lost another one. So a lot of the time you may be running around with your hat in your hand. But yeah, you're going to go fast. As Ricky Bobby would say, I want to go fast. So it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. These guys really know how to drive these boats, and you might get wet. Just letting you know. So on day one with Jamie Hartman, it was fairly uneventful. We ran some water and pitched on some boat docks and ran down some seawalls with a square bill, and you know, didn't pick anything up. And then we went ahead and we made a 30-minute run and didn't do much good there. And as you can see, it was very crowded. Very crowded. There's 3 boats in this shop plus us. So we went ahead and ran back, and finally we started picking some up in the afternoon, but they were just a little over a pound. I think he weighed in like 3 pounds 9 ounces, something like that. So Jamie indicated he kind of didn't want me using the video, so you won't see any video of day one. So we'll go ahead and move to day two. Day two with Corey Johnston was just, it was a lot of fun. Corey is really easygoing, very soft-spoken, you know, and we had a good time. His answers were pretty short because he was focused, And again, he was struggling getting fish. So, you know, we did end up, we picked up most of the fish we caught were on a square bill. He picked up a few, flipping a little crawbait, little tiny crawbait. We tried a frog first thing in the morning. That didn't work out. But we did end up getting 3 fish. Unfortunately, it was day 2 and he didn't make the cut. But I did get the Marshal on day 3. Day 3 was fun. So day 3, I draw Mark Frazier. And he had the big bass of the tournament, and he was sitting in 44th or 42nd place. But the second day, he only weighed in a couple pounds. So you could tell he was worried. So he was looking around. So we get in line and we come around, and old Dave Mercer hollers our name, and off we go, and we get up on plane. And just about the time we get on plane, we come off plane, we're on the other side of the Sabine River. We stop. He gets the trolling motor down, starts fishing. And here I was all bundled up and everything. But we fished around, and he ended up catching a fish off a point at about 7:30, which the previous 2 days we hadn't even gotten a bite until close to lunch. Or with Jamie, it was after lunch. He catches the first fish, and he wears that point out. One thing about Mark would fish out an area. He would fish it thoroughly. He would fish it with a couple different kinds of baits. So he says, okay, we're ready to move again. And we zoom down past the takeoff point because we weren't very far away from takeoff. We go past takeoff, and I see him looking around barges because there were a bunch of barges along the river channel. And all of a sudden he shuts it down, and we wheel in behind this barge to a ship repair place, shipyard, I guess you'd call it. And there's a little pocket in between the barge and the seawall, and it got real shallow back there. And he fires a spinnerbait in there, and first or second or third cast, he picks up a 2-pounder, which for this event, a 2-pounder was gold. You know, that was the biggest fish I'd seen in 3 days. And he picks another one up, and then things kind of slowed down. He was getting short strikes. He was getting bit, but he couldn't hook them. So he pulls out a spinning rod with a weightless fluke on it, and he fires that fluke in there and just lets it sit and, you know, let it sink and let it sink. Give it a little twitch, bring it in a little, give it a little twitch. And he'd bring it in a little bit. Well, he had found one stump, and he didn't know what he was firing at until he got that fluke stuck after we'd already got 5 fish in the live well. Which once he got 5 fish in the live well, he loosened up. We started talking. It was a great day after the 5th fish went in the live well. Anyway, he got his bait stuck, so we had to run up in there to get it unstuck because he only had 3 of these flukes on his boat. So, you know, he was trying to conserve the bait, and he looked at it on the graph, and I think he could see it from the front. There's a big old stump with a bunch of branches coming off of it. So anyway, we ended up culling up to 10 pounds, or right at 10 pounds, 9.9 pounds. So as I'm entering this stuff in the bass tracker, you know, all of a sudden they find us with the drones, and the drones start going overhead. So anyway, other fishermen start coming in, and Mark really didn't want to leave because he knew somebody else was going to get in that spot, and he knew more fish were there because he was still getting a bite once in a while. But he wanted to go get a big one. He wanted to get a kicker. Remember, he got that 6-pounder the first day. So off we go. We run up, and I probably didn't mention this before, but with Jamie and Corey, we fished pretty much in this one canal area, not exclusively, but we fished it pretty hard the first couple days, and there were a lot of fishermen in there. So anyway, Mark comes in and he shuts it down, and we're at that same bunch of canals. I go, I can't help him. I can't, do anything like that. But I'm thinking to myself, geez, we fish these things hard and I haven't seen anything over a pound come out of here. And he did something different. He pulls out a buzzbait, and he didn't fish the docks and the seawalls. He fished the other side. And we picked up, none of them helped, but he picked up a limit of scoreable fish in probably an hour or an hour and a half of fishing that with that buzzbait. He was looking for the big bite. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, geez, that he's caught a limit in the same places where we couldn't hardly get bit. It was just, it kind of opened my eyes. Of course, now this is tidal water, so everything is about the tide and positioning the fish. And we hit it good. Unfortunately, none of those fish helped. We ended up with a 10-pound bag. Mark ended up in 26th position, I believe. So he got a good check. He got good AOY points, Angler of the Year. And it ended up being just a great tournament for him. I could tell he was pretty happy. Shout out to his wife as well. I got to talk to her while Mark was going and getting his weight bag. And she's a really nice person as well. So anyway, good luck to you two. And I hope I see you at another tournament. All right, now as far as equipment goes, I was really impressed. My day one angler, Jamie Hartman, he was running a Nitro, which was, out of the 3 boats, was definitely the roughest ride. Other than that, it seemed to handle real well. The space in it, creature comforts and everything was, I'm going to say, B-. For one thing, I had bruises here and here really bad because the OS bar on that boat was up too far really to hang on to while you're doing 70 and be comfortable, because Jamie and I took a 30-minute ride. So anyway, it did have handholds kind of molded into the seats. So really all I could do is kind of grab the underside of the seat because, you're going through some waves. You don't want to be sitting there bouncing around and bouncing out of the boat. So I give the Nitro, like I say, about a B-. He had the Lowrance HDS fish finders, which I'll tell you right now, guys, none of the 3 of them used their fish finders. This was beating the bank. This wasn't anything offshore. All they used it for was their maps. They had them turned on, but all they had was their traditional screens and the maps. And that's what they had. Because they all had 4 units on the boat, but they only ran just one up front and one up back. So anyway, nothing impressive I can tell you about the fish finders, but the trolling motors. So Jamie, he had the Lowrance Ghost. That, I'm going to give that an A+. It was quiet. It was real maneuverable. It wasn't noisy on the pedal. The pedal seemed to be real smooth. Operated really well. My day 2 was Corey Johnston, and Corey had a Ranger. And sorry, I don't know the model numbers on these, but he had just a beautiful Ranger. Creature comforts galore, easy to hang on to, and out of all 3, it definitely rode the best. It was the most comfortable ride. It handled real well, and he was running Garmin, so he had the force trolling motor. Now I got to give it B to B-. For one thing, the pedal was really squeaky. I mean, I know he had to be scaring fish off, because when he went to move, it just squeaked and creaked, and it was noisy as all get out. The motor was a little sloppy. When he'd hit it, you could hear the motor kind of clanking. It wasn't really mounted as solid as the other 2 were. So I wasn't overly thrilled with that trolling motor. But the boat, oh man. I mean, it's the only one of the three that had a trash can in it. You know, it just very nice. Just the smoothest ride by far. So I really enjoyed that boat. And I enjoyed Corey. He's a heck of a nice guy. My day 3 angler, he's my new favorite angler. Remember this, Mark Frazier. Put him on your fantasy team. This kid's got skills, I'm telling you. So he was running the Phoenix. Now the Phoenix, I'm going to give it an A also. Not quite as good on the creature comforts and not quite as good a ride as the Ranger. But oh man, the handling on that thing, you talk about coming around the corner. It was great and quick. It come up out of the water really nice. Of course, you know, a lot of that depends on how they got the jack plate set up too. But the Phoenix handling was exceptional. Really enjoyed that. Now, he had a motor guide. And the motor guide I give an A+. Because that was really, really quiet and really responsive. I also liked the fact that the way he had it sat up a little higher. And the little roller ball for the speed, where Corey and Jamie were kind of having to reach down and having not a hard time, but you could tell they were consciously having to reach down to adjust the speed of the trolling motor. He wasn't. It was right there handy. He didn't have to look at it or anything. And just really, really liked that motor guide. It wasn't quite as quiet as the Ghost was, you know, the propeller noise and the running, but it was really close. Smooth, no clanks or anything like that. Just a really solid motor. Guys, I think that'll do it. I had a blast. We'll see you on the next one. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. Let's get out on the water and have a great day.